The first shakedowns of the 2026 Formula One cars have immediately produced a contrast that is hard to ignore. On one side, Mercedes rolled the W17 out at Silverstone and completed 67 laps, almost 200 kilometres, without any notable interruptions. Two drivers, consistent running, systems doing what they were supposed to do, and a day that delivered a clear message internally. The baseline package works. No drama, no excuses, just clean execution. Ferrari's introduction of the SF-26 could hardly have looked more different. Just 15 kilometres of running, strictly limited by the rules of a demonstration event, followed by the car stopping on track and being recovered. Ferrari has been clear that there was no technical problem, only a need to manage mileage. That explanation may well be accurate, but in Formula One, early perception often carries almost as much weight as the official line. Mercedes looks like a team already comfortable moving into the next phase, understanding performance. Ferrari looks like a team still focused on validating fundamentals. This is not about lap times. Shakedowns are never about that, but about which team appears more settled heading into the biggest regulatory reset since 2014. Ferrari's approach is cautious. A Spec A car, minimal mileage, and a clear emphasis on concept validation. Mercedes has taken the opposite route, maximising running and emerging with confidence. Two philosophies, two very different signals to the paddock. So the question is this: does Mercedes' smooth start genuinely mark them out as the early 2026 benchmark, or is Ferrari's restraint the smarter play once development begins in earnest? If you want to understand what really matters behind these first headlines, make sure you're subscribed, because that's exactly what we're about to break down next. What makes this comparison particularly interesting is that, on paper, both teams are reacting to the same challenge. The 2026 regulations reset the aerodynamic rules, introduce active aerodynamics, and pair them with an all-new power unit formula built around a 50-50 split between electrical and combustion power. It is the most significant combined chassis and engine change since 2014, and that means the early weeks are less about performance ranking and more about risk management. Mercedes treated its Silverstone outing as a full filming day. That matters. Filming days allow up to 200 kilometres of running, and Mercedes used virtually all of it. George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli both drove the W17, completing 67 laps in total, and the team publicly confirmed that the car ran without problems. Trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin summed it up in typically understated fashion. As with any shakedown, the focus is on ensuring everything operates safely and reliably. We were able to get through our allotted mileage with George and Kimi, getting to experience the 2026 car on track for the first time. That sentence tells you a lot. Mercedes was already in a position to rotate drivers, run representative programs, and come away with confidence in the basic systems. The language is not dramatic, but the subtext is clear. There were no fires to put out. Ferrari, by contrast, deliberately constrained itself. The Fiorano running was registered as a demonstration event, not a filming day. That immediately capped the mileage at 15 kilometres, which equates to 5 laps of Ferrari's private test track. Lewis Hamilton completed the installation lap, then a short 2-lap run, including 1 lap behind a camera car, before the SF-26 stopped on track and was recovered. Images and videos of that stoppage spread quickly, particularly because Fiorano is visible from public roads and packed with tifosi whenever Ferrari runs a new car. Ferrari was quick to respond. A spokesperson confirmed there were no issues and that the stoppage was simply because the team had reached its mileage limit. Fred Vasseur has been consistent for months about how Ferrari would approach the start of 2026, describing the early version of the car as Spec A, and stressing that the priority is reliability and concept validation, not chasing performance headlines. Vasseur explained that mindset previously when discussing the new regulations. The first target is mileage, understanding reliability, and validating the technical choices before pushing performance. He pointed out that in past regulation resets, including 2014, the early races were littered with retirements because teams had not fully understood their new packages. That context matters when judging Ferrari's Fiorano day. The SF-26 is not an evolution. Ferrari itself describes it as a complete rethink of the car's architecture. The car is shorter, lighter by around 30 kilograms compared to 2025, and built around active aerodynamics and a new power unit. It also features a pushrod rear suspension for the first time since 2011, a significant philosophical shift that affects packaging, weight distribution, and aerodynamic freedom. Ferrari technical director Loic Serra described the process behind the car by saying the team dedicated significant time to the concept phase to capture as much as possible of the new regulatory and technical context, while also ensuring enough flexibility for in-season development. That emphasis on flexibility explains why Ferrari is so focused on validating the baseline before expanding the operating envelope. Visually, the SF-26 also reflects that reset. The livery brings more white alongside Ferrari's traditional red, with a return to gloss paint after years of matte finishes. The engine cover features a serrated edge before flowing into the extended shark fin that returns under the 2026 rules. None of that makes the car fast, but it underlines how different the starting point is compared to the outgoing generation. Mercedes' W17 is also new, of course, but its Shakedown suggests a team that believes its internal correlation is already in good shape. The car ran on Pirelli demonstration tyres, just like Ferrari's, but the volume of laps allowed Mercedes to check systems repeatedly, gather more data, and give both drivers a meaningful first impression. It is tempting, therefore, to frame this as Mercedes being ahead and Ferrari already on the back foot. That would be a mistake. What we are really seeing is two teams answering the same question in different ways. Mercedes has chosen to front-load its learning, using every permitted kilometre to stress systems and build confidence early. Ferrari has chosen to minimise variables, keep mileage low, and ensure that nothing fundamentally unexpected emerges before the more extensive tests in Spain and Bahrain. There is also a strategic layer here. Ferrari switched its focus to the 2026 car earlier than some rivals during the 2025 season, a decision that cost it positions and prize money in the Constructors' Championship, but earned it additional aerodynamic testing time. Vasseur defended that choice as rational, arguing that extra development time under the new rules is worth more than short-term results in a season where Ferrari could not realistically catch McLaren. That means Ferrari arrives at 2026 with more wind tunnel and CFD time invested in its concept. But more development time also increases the pressure to get the concept right. A cautious shakedown is a logical response to that pressure. Mercedes, meanwhile, finished 2025 as best of the rest behind McLaren and enters 2026 amid paddock speculation that it may have interpreted elements of the new engine regulations particularly well. None of that can be proven on a filming day at Silverstone, but a smooth, problem-free shakedown does nothing to dampen that narrative. What is striking is how little either team is willing to overplay its hand. Mercedes did not talk up performance or lap times. Ferrari did not pretend its running was anything other than limited. Both are keenly aware that the real work starts in the private tests at Barcelona and then the two official pre-season tests in Bahrain. After Fiorano, Ferrari heads to Spain for a 5-day behind-closed-doors test, with each team allowed to run on 3 of those days. Mercedes will do the same. Only then will mileage begin to accumulate in meaningful quantities, and only then will we start to see which concepts are robust and which are fragile. So, what can we reasonably conclude at this stage? Mercedes looks operationally ready. Its systems appear integrated, its program ran smoothly, and its drivers came away with experience rather than questions. Ferrari looks methodical. It is clearly prioritizing correctness over confidence, and it is willing to accept external noise if that helps it avoid internal surprises later. Neither approach is inherently superior. History offers examples of teams that started strongly in testing and faded, and teams that looked lost early, only to recover once they understood their cars. The key difference here is how each team is choosing to manage uncertainty at the very start of a new era. That is why these first shakedowns matter. even if they tell us nothing about lap time. They reveal intent, philosophy, and internal confidence levels. And in that sense, the Ferrari-Mercedes contrast could be one of the defining stories of the early 2026 season. So as we move towards Barcelona and Bahrain, here is the question to leave you with. Are you more convinced by Mercedes' calm, kilometre-heavy confidence, or by Ferrari's disciplined restraint and focus on fundamentals? Let us know what you think in the comments, because this rivalry is only just getting started.